and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back, yes. Episode 258. Oh my goodness. 258 episodes? You gotta be kidding me. That's awesome. But without further ado, I am your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., 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 and all the way in St. Cloud, Minnesota, at Granite City Studios. It's Paul Vault, the Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
You know, nothing is more humbling to start off a week, of course, with checking in on your fantasy football scores. And lo and behold, in our league, in our college league, I will certainly say, with yourself, me, as well as creative consultant, Mrs. Sarah Ann Twosevold, I lost to my wife this week. And
oh, no.
I'm getting mixed reactions about it. I will say I did win in my other two leagues, but I really wanted to win in the college league too. But she had Jonathan Taylor. He went off the 80-yard touchdown run. I have Jonathan Taylor in my other two leagues.
Same.
So I was happy I have him. And lo and behold, I took the L in the college league. So Sarah is better at fantasy football than me, at least this week. So
Well, I'm glad I'm sure she was liking that you admitted it and everything like that.
I told her straight up, I'm not helping you with your lineup this week.
There you go. Yeah, that's just how it goes. But yeah, the Zoner League has been great. People have been doing great things there, obviously, with our league and Pick'em as well. We'll get to Pick'em in a second because, Voldy, we do have some news, by the way. The Minnesota Twins have found their next manager, and that manager is who, Voldy?
Derekshelton. I called it. You can thank me later, Twins. Actually, no. You know what? I want a phone call now from the Polad family saying thank you for making the decision that much easier. And you know what? I am for him just a humble man when it comes to choosing and deciding the future of the Twins. Let's just hope this works out better than Rocco Baldelli. I feel like it could be based off the rapport and the history that Shelton has with the Twins and, of course, some of the players that are now mainstays in the lineup.
Very true. So the Twins had 4 guys that they were eyeing up, as we've seen through the socials medias. Shelton, Yankees hitting coach James Rowson, former Mariners manager, Scott Servais, and Cubs bench coach Ryan Flaherty. So they went with Shelton. They went with the familiar face. So that they have a familiar face here with the Minnesota Twins. His former place where he was manager was the Pittsburgh Pirates. He had a record of 306 and 440. Not the best record. Obviously, it seems like from what you have been saying, Voldy, that bad management, bad ownership. I wonder, that sounds a lot like...
Again, they were just a really young team. When Derekshelton took over the Pirates, I mean, a super young team.
Yeah.
And especially with, he kind of had some things going for him. But unfortunately, he was there to start off the season. A lot of things came to a head with, obviously you get great 5, 6, 7 innings out of Paul Skeens. The bullpen takes a crap on it, and they end up losing somehow. Even though Paul Skeens could quite possibly end up being the NL Cy Young winner this year. I'm making my call on that right now with the year that he had with the Pirates too. But again, it was just a bad situation overall, even though it was very promising for the Pirates and with Derekshelton. A lot of things turned around from the previous regime that they had there. It just was, I feel like too little too late, given with the amount of youth that they had coming up in the organization and not really built to win right now.
That is very true. And to be quite honest as well, him having prior experience with the Twins and whatnot, I think really helped his case. Now, real quick, since we have a lot to get to tonight with the Minnesota Vikings, with Ant-Man, table topics tonight, and then ARA will go through the lineup here in a second, and obviously pick them. The one thing I want to say throughout them hiring Derekshelton, and Voldy, you put it, you called it. It was, was it
a month ago?
3 weeks? Was it a month ago? Yeah, that was a month.
It was the start. It was the first show of October. So it was 3 weeks ago, we'll say.
Yeah. So let's go with that. From what you were saying when he left, it seems like things just kind of fell apart.
It did
for the Minnesota Twins. So maybe he can be the ace in the hole. The only thing that I ask of Derekshelton is to do something outside of the box. Do something that normally these managers that have been here, like Baldelli and Molitor and some of these other guys, do something that's outside of the box and push back on some of the decisions too. I mean, if there's something that he doesn't like or he doesn't think can work, he needs to have a say in some of these decisions. And I think a lot of those decisions came down to Falvey and obviously the dumbass poll ads, but they have to come to an understanding that this guy can have some free reign a little bit because, again, he has, he knows baseball. The poll ads don't know a damn thing about baseball. And Falvey right now, I'm not a huge fan of. So please do something that's a little different from what you've been doing as of late. Go think outside the box. Go and get somebody that you normally would think wouldn't do much. Do something. That's all I ask. So congratulations to him. The jury's still out. We got to see how this all comes together. Obviously, especially that attendance has been pretty bad. How are you going to bring him back to the park? That's another thing, too. So a lot to factor in with that. We will obviously throughout the offseason talk about that. The World Series is still going on. The Jays and the Dodgers, they are tied in the World Series. Voldy, we said in 7. We said in 7 with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. So, hey, we'll see what happens tonight. They play.
Rule of thumb, let's not have Brad Paisley sing the national anthem ever again. He's done it twice in the World Series. There's been 2 18-inning games when he's done it. So stop it, Brad Paisley. Stop it.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. All right, real quick, let's take a look at, first of all, congratulations to our Week 8 winner of the OG MinneZona shirt. That is Joe Service. Yes. Yeah. Claps out to Joe. It was between him and Stuffage, but Joe edges out Stuffage because it came down to Monday night. And the tiebreaker. Wait. Hold the phone. Hold on. I got to take a look here. This doesn't make any sense because the Monday night game was the Chiefs and the...
well, remember the question at the end of when you make your picks, what's the point total going to be? That's the tiebreaker.
The weird thing is that this is all goofed up. Hold on. Give me 1 second here, guys.
Controversy?
Yeah. Controversy, it might be. I don't know. We'll have to see here. Come here, you stupid man. But basically, Joe did win. I'm gonna here we go. Now it's back to where it was. So Joe predicted 51 points would be scored in that game. Stuffage didn't. Oh, my goodness. Stuffage didn't even put anything.
That's
oh, my
why
God.
you answer the question.
Oh,
Stuffage.
no.
We gotta be better than that.
Oh, Stuffage.
Unbelievable.
He lost out on a shirt. He really did. And I can't defend him on it because, look, you got to put a score down, guys. Vickers didn't do it either. Let's see, who else didn't? Oh, my cousin Jason didn't. Oh, what is he doing?
Hey, Schmitz, come on.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Noobs.
Anyway, our leaderboard, though, overall, is Stuffage. So congratulations to him for even being first. But what's going on here? What are we doing? So he leads the way. Matt Johnson is in second, and RJ as well tied with Matt Johnson. So those are our top three. Voldy, you're still inching your way back up there. You're at fourth.
Yeah, couple of bad weeks back to back. We really came out with a strong first half game plan there. We executed well, but they really got us going into halftime there. They really pieced a couple things together there at the end, but we're to get them here and finish things out. Really, get pucks deep and come out with a win.
I thought you were going full Coach Payne there for a second.
Yeah, I thought about it. Take the top off the defense.
Yeah. So Nick Dahlhoff is tuning in. Shout out to Nick. Watching Callahan throw the red challenge flag on himself in real time is the funniest thing I've seen in a while. I'm glad I can entertain people like that. To be quite honest, I try my best. I really do. So we will, keep that in tune and try to keep you guys entertained. All right. Let's go. Like I said, Vikings get destroyed by the Chargers. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to go into the Lions' den, unfortunately, on Sunday. We'll talk about that. And then the Wolves are without Ant for a couple weeks, which sucks in itself. But we'll get to that. And then tonight, look at that. Table topics. Yeah, we are back with some table topics. Looking forward to doing that. The Gophers get destroyed by Iowa. Not a good weekend for Minnesota sports in general.
Horrible weekend.
Yeah, and then there's some news. I'm not sure if it's materialized, but it might be KirkoChainz reunion. More on that later. NBA in turmoil over gambling controversy. A lot of gambling happenings going on in the NBA. What the hell's going on there? And then LSU firing Briankelly. That is a interesting thing to bring up, especially when he left Notre Dame to go to the LSU and just wasn't enough. So to round things off, major changes coming to the CFL. We'll talk about that. And then you know the deal. Shield shout-outs. So enough of that, enough of the breaking news, we got to get into these Vikings and the Wolves. So let's get it going with some Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
I'm just thinking about what Nick was saying about throwing the red challenge flag out. What's funny is that I wish I could throw the red challenge flag on the refs and the Vikings and Chargers games, by the way. More on that in a second. If you watched that Thursday night nightmare against the LA Chargers, it was rough. It was probably one of the roughest games I've seen in a while. And we lived through the 33-0 against the Colts. We've seen the Josh Freeman game. This one definitely is up there. The Vikings get absolutely obliterated, 37-10. Carson Wentz had one good arm in general. Absolutely got destroyed, sacked 5 times, 15 of 27, 144 yards, 1 touchdown to Addison, and an interception. Yeah. I mean, I don't even really know how to start this off because, quite frankly, I think that this game should be, I would say, thrown in the trash, incinerated, and then just, after the incineration, build it back up again and incinerate it again, all right? And I don't think that's possible, as Coach Hines would say. Voldy, I think the bigger question, I asked this of you, I asked this of the zoners. I mean, we need to just throw this game away. Yeah. Stash it. Forget it even happened, but it's hard not to at this point.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that travesty that was Thursday night?
You knew from the very start, as soon as they took away that pick six, that it was going to get very dicey from that point. I even literally said, as me and Tate are sitting in bed watching the game, as soon as that pick six happened, like, okay, here we go. Defense is going to do something here tonight. And then they took it away.
That was a mistake.
It certainly was a mistake. I don't know what's a catch anymore. I honestly don't know what isn't a catch. Nobody knows. The refs are literally coin flipping every time. As soon as they took away that pick six, I didn't say that it was over, but I knew that they were already going to be behind the 8 ball. And coming into the game, I knew each and every week with Carson Wentz, as soon as, the game in London where he took that hellacious pop, and obviously now we're learning that, the shoulder came out of the socket and everything, torn labrum, literally hanging on there by a wing and a prayer and duct tape and compression shirts. I knew that as each week went by from that London game that we were living on borrowed time with Carson Wentz. And I was really hoping that the offensive line would at least be able to protect him. Unfortunately, it wasn't. He's getting hellacious hits, and I'm surprised he could even stand, let alone play quarterback, with the way the last couple of weeks have gone, and then just him absolutely gutting it out up until the point they literally had to drag him off the field to even get, any sort of relief. And I feel bad for Carson Wentz. He deserves better than that, and especially playing for the team that he grew up cheering for, and the fact that he is out there just getting absolutely, dismantled left, right, and center with the offensive line. It sucks. But the game overall, there were just too many chances for Los Angeles, because you knew the fact that coming into it, we knew that Keenan Allen was going to be a problem. He had a few nice catches. Vidal also had a really nice rushing game too. He absolutely killed us there. And then just Justin Herbert getting lots and lots of time moving around, spreading it out to his receivers, did get sacked a couple of times, did have that one interception, but the Vikings couldn't do anything with the football, sadly, even though they did have a couple of chances to at least make it a much closer game. But as soon as you saw Justin Herbert spinning the ball and at least getting the ball downfield, it was going to be a long night. And sadly, it didn't work out so well. And when you get Ladd McConkey and, Oronde Gadsden going there in the first half there for the Chargers, it was going to be a long night. And sadly, now we're back at square one all over again.
Yeah, and I'm looking at these stats, and quite frankly, after I'd say Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, there's really not much in the receiving game. Rushing game was absolutely atrocious. Xavier Scott was our leading rusher. He only had 2 carries for 16 yards. Aaron Jones, 5 carries, 15. Jordan Mason, 4 for 3 yards. Look, you're not going to win games if you cannot run the ball somewhat effectively. I think that a lot of that kind of had to do with KOC's approach to throwing the football. Now, I've seen the socials media's Voldy. It is toxic as I'm just going to say it, toxic AF. Let's put it like that. Fire KOC. This season's over. These guys are screwed. it was coaching malpractice, keeping Carson Wentz in there, and X, Y, and Z. And I get it. I think he should have put Brosmer in sooner. I agree with that sentiment. Now, I think there came a point in time where Wentz was telling them one thing and people were seeing another thing. And I think they needed to, I won't say I think, they should have acted when they did. Wentz was dying out there. And you could see it on his face. And you just knew that he can't survive this. You have to put Brosmer in. You got to see what you can do here. Now, I disagreed with that wholeheartedly because it made me it made me feel really bad. But I applaud Carson Wentz for gutting it out and trying to give it his all because the guy got beat to hell. And losing Darisaw early in the game when he's still dealing with the knee stuff, and it's like, good Lord, I mean, is like, what are we doing? And Brian O'Neill obviously out. I get that, but good Lord, our left and right tackles are just, I mean, they were getting worked. Brandell getting worked as per usual as well. So, I mean, there is a lot to just talk about there. Offensively was bad, but defensively, I was very disappointed in the way they played, too. Vidal is not a starting running back yet. I thought he played really well. I don't want to discount the fact that he had 23 carries for 117 yards and a touchdown. Herbert was running around freely. There were no spies on Herbert at all to try and corral him. He destroyed us outside of the pick, and shout out to Jalen Redmond. He has been playing awesome this season so far, and he got that tip, Metellus with the pick and everything like that, which really helped the Vikings because they did end up scoring, thank goodness. Now, I just felt like during that game, Voldy and Zoners, let us know what you think too, that they didn't really want to be there. And that's a problem. And I saw the whole, just going into half, Wentz and McCown laughing together and whatnot. People got upset about that. Look, I don't know what was said in that context and everything like that. And I know that kind of would piss people off. I understand that would piss people off too. But listen, you got to bounce back and rally the troops a little bit. The Chargers aren't 27 points better than you. They're not. I'm telling you, this team is good. It's not Detroit Lions level good, I would say. No. Respect to those guys, because guess what? Right. That's who we play. So, I mean, it was an absolute train wreck. It was hard to watch. Yeah. But let me speak to that horrible call, because that was a pick six. I don't give a shit either way. The NFL should be ashamed of themselves. 2 straight weeks, 2 good catches. Hawkinson, Isaiah Rodgers, and shout out to our guy Isaiah Rodgers. That was that. They took away that bounce back game that people were hoping he would have. He has it, and then they take it away from him. The call on the field was pick six. It's good. And then they go to New York. Well, I don't know, it looks like the ball kind of moved and it hit the ground and it was incomplete. There was no evidence that the ball hit the ground, that he lost control. That's a pick. And you know what? It killed that momentum. It's not the reason why they lost. I want to say that because people are like, you guys think because they lost because you get the pick. It's like, shut up. If he got that pick, the Vikings are up 7-0. That's all I can say. Maybe they don't do anything after that. I don't probably because of how bad they played. They probably would have lost anyway. But listen, you can't tell me that isn't a pick six. I want to look at the replay of that again, and New York should be ashamed of themselves. The NFL should be ashamed of themselves. But you know what? Nothing's going to happen because, it's just Minnesota. Again, the hate towards Minnesota for no reason. I'm sick of it, to be completely honest with you. So I'm sick of the hate. I'm sick of all this BS that keeps happening with this damn team and Minnesota in general. So, Voldy, Tate, hey, there he is. Tate, Tate coming in makes me a little bit happier. I don't want to get too angry here. But anyway, we're taking this game, we're throwing it in the trash like we are. So, I think Tate's had enough of it too. So I'm with him on that. So, all right. Throwing that away, let's move on to the Lions' den. This is going to be a very interesting situation. Voldy, like we kind of talked about, Carson Wentz out for the season. No more Carson Wentz. As Tate is, letting me know, what up? He's such a good guy. Anyway, the Vikings play the Detroit Lions. It is in Detroit, unfortunately, and J.J. McCarthy is slated to start. So we get J.J. back. A lot of things have been said about J.J. A lot of people are trying to, I think, beat us down into submission, saying the Vikings are stupid, KOC should get fired, McCarthy ain't it, why isn't he not getting this done, and everything like that. This game is going to be one of those games where it's like, all right, we need to see something. We need to see something that is going to hopefully maybe turn around the season. I mean, do I expect the Vikings to win? Not really.
No.
I think it's going to be tough for the Vikings to really get over the hump of getting back on the winning track. And this is the worst team that I feel like is coming in at this time, especially off a bye and the way that they've been playing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it for you guys, but I don't see them winning this game, the Vikings being, because I just think there's a lot to figure out right now. And if they show some people, hey, you know what? This is, we're going to turn this around against us, and we're going to show you how really good we can be. If they go and do that and beat the Lions, that's going to, that's a start. That's what they need. So, but let's just kind of look at this game. Voldy, what are your thoughts here of them going up against Detroit? They get a little mini bye, but Detroit gets their bye and everything like that. But what do you expect on Sunday?
I expect a lot of things. Not a lot of them good. It's gonna be good to see JJ back out on the field. Of course, him taking all the first team reps as reported today out of practice. So that's good to hear. Him being on track to make the start on Sunday is very promising to see. And let's not forget, JJ McCarthy is 1-0 in the NFC North, but that's neither here nor there. That was a lifetime ago at this rate of the year. I see this too as a game where, really backs are against the wall here with the Lions coming in. Just how their season's really played out. You really thought the Lions were, nailed to the door after that, opening loss at Green Bay, and then just bouncing right back by putting up 50, 51, 45, just stacking numbers as the season has really come along for them. But I see the dynamicness of their team too, with, of course, not just focusing on the run. They're spreading the ball down the field with Jared Goff, and he is definitely in his full form for sure. But now the defense is really responding to, even though they've lost a couple of guys to some injuries and kind of patchworking a few things there, but they're still as complete as they can be. The Lions are definitely a very scary team out of the North for sure. And I don't feel very comfortable, especially with a random 5 guys that are going to be starting on the offensive line for the Vikings. And how much longer is it going to be till we start to hear maybe a little bit more rumblings out of the locker room saying that Justin Jefferson isn't exactly the happiest of campers in that locker room. But if we just keep JJ McCarthy healthy and on the field and on his feet and not on his back, we'll be fine. we're going to be taking our lumps here, and hopefully we can at least be competitive against the Lions on Sunday.
That is the key, being competitive against this team, because this team is built for success. That being the Detroit Lions. I hate to say it, but it's true. This team has, done things that it's never has in its franchise for years, and they're a juggernaut now. And the Vikings coming into this, especially JJ coming off an injury, guys that are coming off finally the injury reports, and guys that practiced today, one of them in full being our guy, Andrew Van Ginkel. It sounds like the Ginkster will be back. That's going to help the defense, so that is much needed as well. And the key here is to get Darisaw, get O'Neal back. And it sounds like they should be back for this game. I worry about Aiden Hutchinson. I think he can make the Vikings' life hell here. But the thing to combat that with is running the damn ball. Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. You got Mason for a reason. You got Aaron Jones. You brought back Aaron Jones for a reason. Utilize those guys. Make it easy for JJ to throw the ball, quick passes, things like that. Because if they can do that instead of drop back and pray that Jefferson is open and Addison. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jefferson's always open. Jets is always open. But I want them to protect J.J. McCarthy as much as possible. I want KOC, and I know KOC already knows this. He knows way more about football than I probably ever will. But we just need to have him play. I don't want to say safe, because I feel like that would just be kind of like we're too conservative. We can't. We can't, expect him to just, hand off the ball a bunch of times. I'm challenging our offensive line to play well, because this defense is good. No matter who's out at corner and the D-backs and everything like that, their linebackers are solid, man. They got Campbell, they got Anzalone. They're good. They're very good. So my challenge is to the Vikings offensive line to really pick it up, because the Vikings invested a lot of money for them to do some things. I know Ryan Kelly is not ready. It seems to me that he's probably not I don't even know if he's going to play for the Vikings at any point here. I mean, this is with these concussions, you got to think of, his long-term health and everything like that. So my challenge is to them. Voldy, you brought up Justin Jefferson, and am I a little concerned? Yeah, I'm a little concerned, because this isn't what he signed up for this season at all. And I get why he's upset and frustrated. And I think it comes down to the Vikings being very cautious about how they approach Justin Jefferson going forward here, and giving this game on Sunday will determine, for some people, not all people, because I still have belief in J.J. McCarthy. I really do. And the fact that people are jumping ship and saying, he doesn't have it, he's injury prone and everything like that. It's like, let the guy play, and then we can make some determinations and everything like that. Stop with the nonsense of, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, after one bad game. Listen, teams have bad games. It's like people are thinking, oh, man, we should shut everything down. KLC doesn't know what his play calling. Did he make some foolish play calls in that game against the Chargers? Sure. But you know what? The guys also have to execute those plays as well. I think I think it's great to run in the ball on 3rd and 1, but guess what? There was no running game either. So what the hell do you want him to do? Like, it's insane to me. So some people think that they're offensive coordinators and they know what they're doing with it. It's like, yeah, well, there's some guys getting paid big bucks and you're just bitching and complaining about the play calling. Listen, I think the Vikings are going to make this competitive. And I want them to go out there and have an attitude. I want them to be more physical. I want them to be more smart about penalties. I think are a problem too. I think that the holdings, the special teams. Ivan Pace Jr. What the hell are you doing? Already starting running back when the guy even hasn't kicked off the damn ball. I mean, what are you doing? And
can we figure that out? Because every time that happens, Miles Price has like a 50-yard return, and it doesn't mean much.
And then it gets taken back, and it's
it's happened like 5 times this year. Yeah,
and he's a good returner. He's been great.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to them really taking a look in the mirror. I mean, do not go into this game and come out flat. You need to come out and punch them in the mouth. You know what? Take their mantra. Dan Campbell, bite off some kneecaps for God's sake. I mean, go and show them that you're going to be physical. You're going to show them, hey, you know what? We can hang with you guys, and guess what? We could probably beat you guys if we play our best here. I think if the Vikings can do that, they might have a chance, but I just don't see it. We got to see some good stuff from J.J. McCarthy as well. I think we will. It's a matter of getting used to the NFL game again. I mean, he's been gone for a lot of games, so it's going to come down to whether or not he can get it done here. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, there's going to be a lot of upset people. I still got belief. in JJ, man. This is only his 3rd game in the NFL coming up here. So.
Exactly.
We shall see. All right, let's move on to basketball here, Voldy. The Minnesota Timberwolves will be without our guy, Mr. Bring your ass, Anthony Edwards. He is out for a couple weeks with a hamstring tightness, I believe, was the injury. Unfortunately, against the Pacers, he kind of came out early, saying it was in some discomfort and everything like that. So, right hamstring tightness. So that's kind of how they put it, which is weird, but that's what they got. That's what I'm reading here. So, Anthony Edwards out for a couple games. The Wolves right now without Ant. Their current record right now, I should say, is 2-2. They do play the Lakers again tonight. They lost them earlier. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. So, no Luka or LeBron tonight. So it's gonna be the Julius Randle show well here for the Wolves. So, Voldy, what are your thoughts on the Wolves so far? What do you like? What don't you like? And what do you think of Ant's absence here?
Yeah, the absence is definitely going to be very glaring, especially early on in the season with the Western Conference trying to shape up as best they can and just trying to build that continuity with the team from last year going into the season again here too with those soft tissue injuries too. It's very temperamental. It could be fine in the 2 weeks. It could be fine in 6 weeks. It just really all depends how to the extent of said injury and how much you can attack and rehab and just letting it rest while also still getting your work in. For Ant, it's going to be very temperamental in that department. But what I do like here with the Timberwolves so far to start off the season for them, sitting, 2-2 on the year, they've had a couple of games slip away from them, taking the loss against the Lakers. And then ultimately too, of course, with the way the season has started for them, I definitely like seeing, of course, attacking early with that win against the Pacers and, of course, the Trailblazers too, but dropping some key matchups, of course, with, the Nuggets and the Lakers too. It's a little bit tough to see there, especially with the injury that did occur with Ant in the matchup against the Pacers too. But, seeing kind of guys step up and rise to the challenge is going to be crucial during this next 2-week stretch for them. But I don't see how they can't adjust from that, because they had to do it a few times during the regular season last year with Ant being down and just kind of making some proper moves to that point.
Well, I think with this team, and you saw it with the game against Portland, they did a great job with Portland and how they were able to, get the job done and obviously get Chauncey Billups arrested. So, over that, more on that in ARA. Ant was amazing. Ant was the closer. He was, kicking ass, taking names, unfortunately with the injury and whatnot. That's what we want to see. Julius Randle, I feel, has played really well so far. And I think with Julius Randle, I think a lot's on his shoulders too, to kind of being that number 2 a little bit. He played well against the Nuggets, even though they lost. Their defense wasn't great, and Finchie was calling out our top defensive guys, McDaniels and Gobert, and I hope that it's not turmoil going on here, because Jay McDaniels quoted saying, "I guess I need to be better on defense," or whatever. Like, oh boy, please don't have controversy. You guys are too talented. So hopefully that kind of blows over. But I like the way that they've kind of started out, and yeah, they've gone against some pretty good teams so far. They went and beat the Pacers. The Pacers went to the finals last year, and they took on OKC. But yeah, I think it'll be nice tonight for them to beat the Lakers here, hopefully, and they're going to be contenders in the Western Conference. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not going to say what seed or anything like that. But, apparently for some people like Draymond Green think that, oh, no, they're not even in the conversation. I think he's still salty about that ass whooping that the Wolves gave him last year in the playoffs. Oh, we didn't have Steph Curry. You had Jimmy Buckets. And what happened? He still lost. So, yeah. Anyway, so I think the Wolves will be okay without Ant. Look, just have Ant take as much time as he needs. We still have Julius Randle. We've got Jaden McDaniels, and you know it, Voldy, our tribal chief, Nazreid. Yeah, Nazreid, baby.
Katie acknowledges our tribal chief as well.
Yeah. He just got a record, didn't he, though, Voldy? I believe we had it on our socials, right, with Nazreid rebounds or something like that. So, Nazreid, we acknowledge our tribal chief, as always. So, yeah, I think the Wolves will be all right. I think they'll win tonight. I think they'll get back on the Lakers. If they don't have Luka, they don't have LeBron, I think they should be able to win. Reeves, I think, is kind of their guy that they really need to stop. Ayton's played well, too, so keep an eye on those guys tonight. So that'll do it with our Wolves talk. And, yeah, it was a hot Tater Tot Hot Take. Some of it not great, some of it pretty good. I mean, it's going to be fun to see JJ play. It will. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching him play, seeing what he does, seeing what he's hopefully improved on while he was injured. And, hopefully we got a good game plan for these Detroit Lions, because they will not make it easy whatsoever. All right. Table topics tonight, Voldy. It has been a while since we've done some table topics. I've got the topics ready to roll. Zoners, feel free to answer as well. We welcome anyone who might know the answer. And let's be honest, some of you probably won't get it off the top of your head, and you'll probably hop on your computer or cellular device to figure out the answer, which is fine, too, which is totally fine as well. So, Voldy, let's get it going with some table topics.
The tables have been set. It's time for MinneZona's Table Topics.
All right, it is time for table topics tonight. You know, Voldy, this might be a challenge. I think some of these might be a challenge tonight.
Okay.
But they're good. A little mix of Twins, Wild, Vikings.
Okay.
We've got some good ones. So let's get it going with table topics. Shout out to Mama Callahan for finding these gems as well. So claps out to Mama Callahan. All right. The first one tonight, Zoners and Voldy.
Okay.
We have this one. I think this could be a layup. This could not be a layup. So let's get it going here. What Minnesota-Wisconsin college football rivalry trophy disappeared after a 1943 Gophers victory and was replaced by Paul Bunyan's axe in 1948? That is a great question, and I didn't even know this until recently. So Voldy will have to think for a second here. I will read it again.
I have an idea of the answer, and I can't remember if it's the Minnesota-Wisconsin or if it's Minnesota-Iowa connection there, because I'm pretty sure that it's always been Floyd for the Iowa-Minnesota matchup. So I'm going to say that it is the Side of Bacon trophy. Is that the answer?
Well, let's put it like this.
Okay.
I'd give it to you because it's slab of bacon. I mean,
Slab
it's the
of
same
bacon,
thing.
yeah.
So I mean, it's
Slab of bacon, side of bacon.
I'll give that to you. I mean, that makes sense. But I didn't know that. I didn't know it was bacon before. I mean, this is Minnesota, Wisconsin. Like,
Yeah, my dad. Yeah, Jimbo used to talk about that all the time too during the matchup and everything. But can you imagine
Jimbo
if that
knows his
trophy
stuff.
was still around to this day? It's crazy.
Yeah. Dang, that's insane.
Well, Michigan State, they battle for an actual Paul Bunyan, believe it or not.
Oh, that's right. That is true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, Minnesota, Wisconsin is the longest rivalry in college football, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Or is it Minnesota is it? Yeah, I know Minnesota's in the mix. I thought it used to be
or was it?
or I guess no, it's the oldest trophy. Is it the little brown jug's the oldest trophy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see. All right.
Yeah,
I
because
just
it goes
saw-
back to like 1901 or something like that. Even though Michigan and Minnesota don't play each other on a regular basis,
True.
which is a sham within itself.
Yeah. Well, thank the NCAA on that one. I'll do the next one here since you got that right away. In 1975, what safety set a Vikings single season record with 10 interceptions? So I'll read it again here so the zoners can think about it. Voldy can think about it as well. In 1975, what safety set a Vikings single season record with 10 interceptions?
Okay.
So it's a great question. Voldy, let's do this just so we can give zoners some time here.
Okay.
We're gonna do our little drum roll, and then you'll just put out your answer. So if I can find it, that's the big thing here. Can I find it? I know what it looks like and everything like that. The question is, where the hell is it? Party noisemaker, DJ. Oh, there it is. I found it. All right.
There it is.
Voldy?
All right. My guess is going to be, because I got one of two guesses, but I'm pretty confident in the one. Paul Krause.
That is correct. Yes, spot on. Paul Krause, single season record with 10 interceptions, but still the interception leader as well in the NFL. So,
Which
did
is
that come back?
crazy.
That was sick. Anyway.
That's still the single season record, too?
Yeah.
10? Wow.
Yeah, or I think. I'd have to look it up here.
I gotta
but,
look that up. I had to look
it's
that
pretty, It's pretty, it's pretty cool, though, to say the least. All right, next one. We're actually, let's wait for that one. We'll do a different one here. Which one was it? Was it this one? Okay, this one. You'll like this one. All right.
Right?
How many Minnesota-less NHL seasons were played between the departure of the North Stars and the arrival of the Minnesota Wild?
Oh boy.
So,
okay.
zoners, how many Minnesota-less NHL seasons were played between the departure of the North Stars and the arrival of the Minnesota Wild? So, before Voldy answers, we'll give him a second to think, and we will do our drum roll. So, 3, 2, and 1.
Okay, so I would imagine that it's going to be going from the first Wild game, which was in 2000, and the
Correct.
North Stars left in 95, 96. I'm going to say, because I would have been like, just learning how to walk by the time they left. I'm going to say it was 5 NHL less seasons without the professional hockey.
Ah, that is incorrect.
Lame.
The actual, you're close, though. You're very close. It was 7. 7 seasons. That's a long time.
There you go.
That's a good chunk of time that the Wild or the Minnesota didn't have a hockey team. The state of hockey didn't have a hockey team.
Oh, I remember going to a Wild game the first season that they were around, and I was like 7. So there we go.
That's insane. So, if you guys knew that, let us know too. I thought that was a good one, especially since the Wild have been starting up and they haven't started hot. That's for sure. Not very good so far. We're not happy about it, but we'll see what happens. Next one here. Let's take a look at what we have. We got 2 more for you. We got this one where I think we did this one, actually. No, we'll see. What Plymouth Robbinsdale native went 5th overall to the Coyotes in the 2004 NHL draft and was named captain of the Winnipeg Jets in 2016? What Plymouth Robbinsdale native went 5th overall to the Coyotes in the 2004 NHL draft and was named captain of the Winnipeg Jets in 2016? Let's get a drum roll here.
I know the answer. I don't want to know the answer, but I do.
I think you know. Go ahead.
It's Blake Wheeler.
That is correct. Did we do
drafted.
this one?
No, we did not. It's funny because I didn't even know that Blake Wheeler was drafted by Arizona because he came into the league as a member of the Boston Bruins. Ended up getting traded to Atlanta. Then Atlanta turned into Winnipeg, and then he kind of bounced around from that point. Ended up his career in New York. He actually just retired, I think, if it wasn't last year, the year before. And I hate Blake Wheeler ever since he scored that crazy. If you look it up on YouTube, I don't even want to talk about it. WCHA Final 5 at the XL Energy Center scores a wild goal to take the lead against North Dakota and ruin their chances at another Frozen Four bid. I am physically and mentally scarred from that goal that did take place. But, just it was Blake Wheeler.
It wasn't good, but it wasn't Phil the Thrill, at least.
That's true.
Or no, he's no longer the Thrill. Excuse me.
I did find that question: most interceptions in a single season.
Yes.
And believe it or not, it's actually one guy who holds it for the rookie record and the single season record as well. We're at to take it all the way back to 1952.
Oh, jeez.
Dick
Yeah.
Night Train Lane
Hey,
held the record. 14
Night Train Lane.
interceptions in a single season. But Paul Krause still has 81 career interceptions.
Jeez,
Crazy.
that's insane.
81.
That's
Talk about
insane.
a ball hawk.
Yeah,
Crazy.
he was. He
Mhm.
was. And, Dirty Harry, I think has had a similar career to
Very much so.
Paul Krause. So, all right. The last one for tonight for Table Topics is this. Excuse me. This one is in referring to the Vikings here.
Okay.
This is another NFL record. When Brett Favre set the NFL record for most consecutive starts by a player at any position, whose mark did he break? What was the record that he broke? Whose record?
Okay.
So, one more time. When Brett Favre set the NFL record for most consecutive starts by a player at any position, whose mark did he break? So, we will do our drum roll if I can find it. There it is. Boldy.
So, in context to the question itself, the person that Brett Favre passed, this said guy was a Viking, correct?
Correct.
Jimmarshall.
Hey, spot on. Yes, it was Jimmarshall.
Rest in peace, Jimmarshall.
Yeah, rest in peace, Jimmarshall.
Should be in the Hall of Fame, but yeah.
Honestly, I can't believe that he's not in the Hall of Fame. This is
Right?
absolutely absurd. I think we might have talked about this.
We did. Yeah.
My even Papa Kelly and I'm sure Jimbo and Mark Rosen obviously have been. Mark Rosen has been fighting for him to get into the Hall of Fame, and I think he needs to be in there as soon as possible because this guy played every single game. He wasn't injured. Guy was an absolute monster out there.
One of the more identifiable players of the Purple People Eaters back in the day. And had, of course, one of the biggest follies of all time with the safety on the fumble recovery.
Yeah.
But still, besides that, still a very legendary Hall of Fame career. NFL championship caliber player. And, of course, the vaunted Purple People Eaters back in the days at Old Met Stadium. Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's, so many people that are Vikings fans have been fans for a long time, remember all of that and how good they were with Bud and the Purple People Eaters and everything like that.
Yep.
Just they're awesome. They were awesome. So that'll do it for Table Topics this go around. Well done, Voldy. And Zoners, if you followed along. I'm sure some of you did. So that'll do it for Table Topics. ARA, we've got a jam-packed ARA. I mean, when don't we? You got awesome ARAs. Iowa just absolutely obliterates the Gophers, 41-3. We'll talk about that. Not a good weekend for Minnesota sports. Rumors are swirling about my guy, KirkoChainz. Is there a reunion that could possibly happen here with the Vikings and KirkoChainz with the trade deadline looming? I think it might depend on how things go on Sunday. We'll see.
This is true.
We'll talk about it. And the NBA in turmoil over gambling controversy. There has been some interesting happenings that has happened these past few days, and none of it good. LSU firing Briankelly. A lot to be said about that. We'll talk about it. And to round things off, the major changes are coming to the Canadian Football League, the CFL. So I say we get it going. What's up? Observe or approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
Well, it is time for some A or A. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, just when you thought the weekend couldn't get much worse for Minnesota football, well, the Iowa Hawkeyes and their lackluster offense decided to open a whole can of whoop ass on the Golden Gophers, winning 41-3 to keep Floyd in Iowa City. Now, 41-3, it was bad, but it wasn't 31-0 at the half. So only giving up 10 points in the second half, I guess, is a feather in the cap for the Gophers. Excuse me. Ugh. All in the first half alone to be up 31-0. Iowa had a rushing, passing, defensive, and a special teams touchdown. Now, usually you get that maybe in a 2-3 week span for a football team. But no, Iowa had it in one half of football against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, who could not just get anything going on the ground, in the air, and struggled for sure. Drake Lindsay ended up with 3 interceptions, those turnovers, and of course, along with the punt return that did get scored by Iowa, not exactly a real, program builder from that point, with Iowa, of course, notorious for their inefficiencies on offense, I would certainly say. But even with Mark Gronowski transferring from South Dakota State, 2-time NCAA FCS champion as well, throw that on top of it, makes Iowa now 6-2 on the season, 4-1 in the conference. Gophers now fall to 5-3, 3-2 in the Big Ten Conference. But this brings up the question, Matt, now with Iowa being bowl eligible and the Gophers looking to become bowl eligible, is it absurd or approved the Gophers will finish with a worse record than Iowa by the end of the season?
Oh boy. Just to throw a little bit of backstory here. On Friday, or on, no, it wasn't Friday, Saturday, I went to go see a movie. I went to see a movie with one of my friends, and after the movie, I'm like, hey, let's go out to eat. So we go to the local pizza pub nearby, and we go to sit down. I look at the TVs because there's a lot of TVs on. It was all Gopher game, and I saw that they were down 31-0. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. What the hell is going on? I thought that they would be, this would be a close game and everything like that. No, the Gophers are getting absolutely obliterated. After all the things that we were positive about the Golden Gophers, Voldy, we were saying, we're like, dang, they got something here. They went and beat Nebraska and everything like that, and then they just absolutely get destroyed by Iowa. And Iowa made life hell for Drake Lindsay. 3 interceptions, 3 bad interceptions, that's for sure. Iowa, actually passed the ball well. They were 12-9. Gronowski was 12-19, 135 and a touchdown, and then I think his backup scored a touchdown or something towards the end.
He did.
I mean, it was an absolute crap show with no intermission here. And I just don't know what it is with PJ and Iowa and his teams. I mean, they've only beat him once and in his tenure. And they just, anytime that we've played Iowa, we've lost. We haven't, played well most of the time. And this one was kind of the cherry on top here. I unfortunately, it's got my stamp of approval. But the Gophers, they got to get back on track here. I mean, this isn't a, the Hawkeyes have a good team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, but they're not that much better than you. Come on. No. I just think Lindsay had a bad game, and you know what? You're going to have those. It's going to happen, but getting just absolutely destroyed 41-3, come on. Yeah. You guys are better than that. One thing that I found interesting, and they didn't run the ball well either, no surprise. I mean, it was just like the Gophers well, let's take what the Vikings did and implement it into our game plan here. That went well. So yeah, I just think, defensively, they just got destroyed. They ran the ball well as Iowa usually does. 133 yards on the ground, 141 yards through the air. It wasn't good. So, yeah, they're gonna finish with a better record, I'd say. The Gophers, I think, who do they got this week? Do we know? I gotta take.
They have a team in conference, and they play Michigan State.
Michigan State. Yes, and Michigan State hasn't been very good, especially with all the stuff that they've been dealing with. Post ordeal with their former coach and whatnot. But this is a game they got to win because you're not going to beat Oregon. Northwestern's always a tricky team, and guess what? You got Wisconsin coming up here soon, and they haven't been good at all. But you guys got to figure out a way to beat them. I mean, you got to win Paul Bunyan. You shouldn't lose to that team. They're terrible this year. I mean, this is a big game. I think they have to bounce back if they want to be bowl eligible and everything like that. So get this win. You'll be bowl eligible. You're good to go and whatnot. But, yeah, I think Iowa's going to be, unfortunately, better than the Gophers. But one thing I do want to say real quick. Who hates Iowa? We hate Iowa, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Voldy, what do you got?
The fact that Iowa's won 10 of the last 11 matchups is not very good for PJ Fleck. If it was just that, PJ Fleck would have been out about 3-4 years ago. It's the fact that he continues to find ways to maybe slip in a win against Penn State, maybe one against Wisconsin, kind of keep things at ease for a little bit are good. But sooner or later, we need to figure out how to beat Iowa and do it on a much regular basis. I don't know what it is about this matchup that Iowa just continues to find ways to get the best of them, even with the worst, historically not a great offense and still a pretty good defense. They find ways to win against the Gophers for sure. Heck, I think even the one year that the Gophers beat Iowa, wasn't that the famed Cooper DeJean?
It was
fake the fake
fair catch.
Fair catch. Thank you. The fair catch that was called but wasn't a fair catch. I mean, that's the only way that you beat Iowa is by getting that call on top of it. Yeah, it was just not. This was a completely different looking Gopher team than we saw against, USC, that we saw against, last week against Nebraska on top of it. And it's just not good. Now, we do have a conference win less 2 matchups. Both teams haven't won a game in conference, Michigan State and Wisconsin. You've got Northwestern, which is a scrappy bunch, and then you also have Oregon. Oregon also takes on Iowa this week, too, which will be a very good matchup. Both teams sitting, right behind Indiana and Ohio State, so they're jockeying for position there for the 3rd spot in the conference. But then you get, Oregon there, too. I believe that game's at Oregon. That's not going to be a good trip, not going to be a fun trip, but I feel that Iowa is that game is going to be a slaughter. Iowa is definitely going to slip past the Gophers in the win-loss category for the season, unfortunately.
Okay, that was a very just stamp of approval, but it hurts. I mean, it hurts to do it, but we'll see. They got to get back on track. They're at home, against Michigan State. Get it done, please. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, with the NFL trade deadline looming coming up here next week, November 4th is the trade deadline. A lot of moves are coming through that could potentially swing a team's season or maybe the season coming up after. And one that is looking right in our backyard, quite possibly a reunion with KirkoChainz and the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, we did lose the Carson Wentz for the rest of the season with the shoulder injury that will put him on the shelf for the season. And, of course, KirkCousins is looking for opportunities other than the role that he has as the backup in Atlanta, even though last season he was slotted as the starter, but eventually was taken over by Michael Penix. But Cousins did go 21 for 31 for 173 yards in a sadly blowout loss to the Miami Dolphins. Also sad to see as well with him getting the spot start for the injured Michael Penix Jr. But with Kirk Cousins also requesting a trade, some things and some teams are starting to kick the tires on the old 40 core at the, of course, experienced veteran quarterback to quite possibly fill these shoes or at least be a little bit of a veteran presence in their lineup. But point blank question answer on for everything. Absurd or approved? Will the Vikings trade for Kirk Cousins to bring him back home?
So, Voldy, I'm going to need you to do me a favor. Just hold on 1 second. I need to grab something from what I have here. So just give me 1 second. Right? I need to be able to to see correctly. Just kind of like this. KirkoChainz. Oh my God. Kirko, chill. I think I needed to dress the part tonight. Here's the thing. Now, I want to make this as clear as possible. I am still on the J.J. McCarthy train. Like, I believe in J.J. McCarthy. I think he's going to be, this team's future and everything like that. But in the off chance, Voldy, that the Minnesota Vikings things just aren't going well. JJ just doesn't have a good game. He's going to need more time and everything like that. There's only one right answer. And that's our guy, KirkoChainz. KirkoChainz. Now, just hear me out. All right?
Hear me out.
If things go well and they decide to bring him back, the question is, what is Atlanta willing to pay or not pay for that contract? It's a huge contract as well. But listen, if there is some way Kwesi can cook up something to where the Vikings don't have to pay as much, but I for one think that if they're going to, try to right the ship a little bit, why don't you bring a guy in that knows this offense, that knows these receivers, the running backs? Wait, no, he doesn't yet. Anyway, but the offensive line, he knows mostly everybody there besides our Donovan Jackson. But this would be a big jolt. If the Vikings get obliterated by the Lions and everything like that, I think you make that call. I think you say, listen, you want to start, you have an opportunity to start here. And if they do that, it would be awesome. So, the big question that remains to be seen here, will KirkoChainz, will the Vikings trade for KirkoChainz? I'm going to say absurd. I just think the Vikings are going to play a little bit better. I believe in JJ. I believe in what we're trying to do here. I think they're going to play a lot better than what they did on that awful Thursday night. But if the off chance that this goes wrong, I think they make that call and say, we want him. Bring him back. Bring back our guy. Oh, my gosh. Darissa, do it for me.
Oh, my God. Kirko, chill.
Voldy, what do you think?
Look, I see it from the perspective of we need a veteran backup. You're telling me if, God forbid, knocking on wood right now, J.J. McCarthy gets hurt again, you're going to hand the ball off to Max Brosmer and you're going to be fine with it? Yes, I know the Vikings did sign John Wofford, of all people. John Wofford, the L.A. Rams legend himself. They signed him to the practice squad. I'm sure he'd get elevated to be the third quarterback. Sure, I'm sure that's going to be the case for him. You're telling me you're going to be fine with either of those guys if if at all possible, knock on wood, JJ McCarthy gets hurt again. I don't feel comfortable with it. I feel comfortable with a veteran backup quarterback as a part of the Vikings rotation. Now, with that being said, Kirk Cousins, yes, a little bit of experience there, or at least a little bit of familiarity with the system. With Kevin O'Connell, of course, maybe not as crazy and as motion heavy, or at least up tempo to the style offense that he was running last year and this season with the Atlanta Falcons. I think it would be a little bit more suited to his playing style and his playing ability with him coming back to the Vikings. Now, with that all being thrown into the mix, will the Vikings trade for Kirk Cousins? I'm going to say it's absurd. It's absurd. I know. I think the contract is going to be way too much to take on. What are you going to be giving up? Because you already took the L there with. I should say the Vikings got the W with that, because they got a little bit of draft compensation with the tampering period. But I would feel much better rather with trading for Case Keenum myself from the Bears, because they don't need it. They don't need Case Keenum anymore. No, they've got Tyson Bagent as a solid backup quarterback there for Caleb Williams. So I would much rather have, me personally, Case Keenum over Kirk Cousins. No, the Vikings will not be trading for Kirk Cousins.
Okay. Now, I feel like I have to finish the rest of the show wearing this. Should I? I think I will.
Probably.
Yeah, why not? we get to talk about gambling next, so I mean, you might as well. No, but yeah, I just think it'd be so like fun, because all the Kirk haters that were around Minnesota and everything, they would just be so upset. They'd be so upset, and I would love every second of it. But yeah, I don't see it happening, but it'd be kind of fun. It would be kind of fun if he came back. But Case Keenum, you never know, Voldy. You never know.
Absolutely. Finish the story.
Finish the story, Cody Rhodes style. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we head to the world of the NBA, and a topic that really broke late after the show last week and early on the Thursday of last week. The NBA is taking measures and reassuring with the recent breakout that federal indictments have come in on veteran guard Terry Rozier and Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups being indicted as part of a federal investigation into sports gambling schemes involving sports gambling, and also in poker. Now, two separate issues, but still a very ugly mark on the NBA. Terry Rozier was at least accused of being part of a gambling scheme centered around prop bets on his stats from a game in the previous season and also in seasons beforehand as well. Now, on the other side, Chauncey Billups was thrown into a possibly fixing into illegal, well, I shouldn't say illegal, but undermining poker games as well, trying to make things a little bit more swayed, rigged poker games with ties to organized crime, as put up by the FBI in their investigations taking place. Now, the league has sent out many memos, of course, with the legal side of sports gambling, how it should be regulated, what types of bets should be allowed, and the best ways to protect players from the, quote, dire risks that gambling can impose upon their careers and livelihoods. Now, with all of this taking place here, and of course, the sway of the world that we now live in most recent years, with the higher interest and also shove down your throatness of sports gambling by professional leagues and sports media as a whole, is it absurd or approved? Will we see more players be indicted over these gambling related charges, whether it be on prop bets, rigged poker games, any sort whatsoever? Will we see more players take the fall and also be indicted?
It wouldn't surprise me. It seems like a lot of these players, especially Chauncey Billups. Now, I feel like we have to, let the process play out on some of this, because it seems to me that, people are trying to, protect Chauncey Billups and everything. I've always liked Chauncey Billups. I think he's, been a great guy and, whatnot. He played for the Wolves a little bit. He's a NBA Finals champ. This coming at a time where he just got off of a game, against the Timberwolves and everything like that, and then to be arrested. Terry Rozier's had some problems in the past, too, so that doesn't surprise me. The Billups one surprises me the most. But I think we will, to be quite honest, because, gambling is a addictive thing. And, you don't want to play around with that and whatnot, but, the ties to the mafia stuff, that's a problem. And the NBA, I think, it was good that they took action about, saying like, hey, don't be, doing this type of stuff, but raises a lot of questions. I mean, this is a situation that's not a good look for the association by any means. This is, if they uncover even more things, that's not good. I think I even saw Voldy, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Kevin Garnett apparently was at some of these things that happened or these meetings or whatever. I don't believe it, for one, because KG's, KG. And to be quite honest as well, I mean, he's going to have his number retired, I'd assume, here at some point with the Wolves. So it would be heartbreaking if that were the case. But I don't think, anything will happen to KG. But, yeah, it's got my stamp of approval, and I think you're going to find more. The question is this legit? Is this not legit? What evidence do they have, and where are we going with this? So, I guess let the process play out, but I think we're going to find more names here very soon. So, Voldy, what do you think?
Look, the whole sports gambling thing, the way that it's really taken over the world, much the same the way pickleball has in the last handful of years, I'm not surprised that this hasn't happened a lot sooner. I mean, Terry Rozier was investigated by the league recently, and they said, well, we couldn't find anything. And now the FBI is like, yeah, but it was right here this whole time with the evidence that they found. And the league now has to basically say, okay, well, here's where we screwed up. And I'm not surprised at the way that sports gambling has taken over the world of sports and sports media, like I said, in most recent years, and how that is not led to something like this a lot sooner. Because, making a little extra money, maybe you miss a shot, maybe you turn over the ball one, maybe two extra times, maybe hit a couple of unders on your, on some of those points too, or some of the prop bets that are, swayed towards you. I'm not surprised. And, the fact that it could be a little bit more enticing for some of these guys that are just barely making enough to get by, or maybe could use a little bit more. Terry Rozier wasn't one of those guys. He's making $26 million this season, I believe, with his current deal on the team that he's with. But now you look at it, and how much further deep in the rabbit hole are we going to go with maybe some players shaving points, or maybe even, taking some of the unders, or at least intentionally throwing games. Now, for the Chauncey Billups side of things, like, I would feel like that your role as a head coach of the NBA probably doesn't sway you enough time to be holding rigged poker games, or I could be wrong. On top of it, maybe something happened during the offseason, or even before he was head coach of the Trailblazers. Like, having those poker games isn't exactly illegal, but swaying the results that way you come out with money as opposed to, the house winning, that's where the part gets a little bit tricky, and also gets, very, very illegal from what I have seen and read about too. I would not be surprised in the slightest if a handful of other guys are thrown into the mix here, or at least some other charges are thrown out, or, more gambling information comes out about these guys, taking the fall to score a little bit extra dough for sure. I would not be surprised at all if more comes out here in the following days and weeks.
It'll be a interesting situation that unfolds, and who's in it and whatnot. Maybe Draymond Green's in it. Who knows?
Or I hope so. Ain't that
he
dumb,
deserves
but,
all the cheap shots right now. I mean, seriously. Guy's just a bum. All right, next one, Voldy.
Heading to the world of college football, and another big-time head coach has been let go of his program, that being Briankelly at LSU, following a dismal blowout loss to Texas A&M on Saturday. LSU had announced that, along with athletic director Scott Woodward, that LSU is letting go head coach Briankelly. Now, of course, he'll be getting more than $54 million in his buyout from his contract, but the lackluster, I should say, tenure of Briankelly down in Baton Rouge is now finally come to a head with a 34-14 overall record at LSU. Just under 71% of the games, the Tigers did lose 3 of the past 4 games, all in conference. That's not something you do at LSU. You're competing for national championships, not just for wins and losses. Now throwing into the, well, sadly, lack of a positive finish for his time in LSU, Briankelly now back onto the coaching block and free agency as well. Does he take a season off? Does he dive right back into it? Be interesting to see. But with LSU letting go Briankelly, is it absurd or approved? Will the Tigers have more immediate success before Briankelly does with another program?
Well, I think it started off pretty rough for the guy. I mean, to be quite honest, he did that whole fake Southern drawl thing, and I think people kind of called him out for that. He said some stuff that has been controversial as well. I think the main thing is just he wasn't a fit for that university and what they expect out of their coaches. Now, I know he was at Notre Dame, and they did go to a national championship, but got absolutely obliterated. But I just think the whole situation, he just wasn't able to really have belief in him, from not only the fans and the university, but I just feel like all around college football. He's a little awkward, to be quite honest. That whole recruiting thing when they're doing that camera and they're doing the dance stuff.
I know that's the first thing I thought of when we're talking about this. Right. It's insane.
So I just think he's just kind of a weird dude, to be quite frank. But Voldy, what's interesting though, as I'm looking at this firing, and I heard some rumblings as well. Our guy, Coach Joe Burrow, apparently he wants to get back into coaching. So, will LSU want to bring? No, I doubt that they would do that, but
you never know.
It'd be hilarious if he came back. More sound bites to go with Coach O. But yeah, I just think, they were hoping he could bring them to a national championship game when they were eliminated from college football playoff. It just kind of solidified what needed to happen, and that was to fire Briankelly. I just think it was never really a fit. His style of coaching, I just think they didn't resonate with the players as much, and it just went south very quick, and so I think to answer the question here, I think LSU will have immediate success over Briankelly because, quite honestly, I just don't see him doing much after this because, I don't know, some people aren't fans of him. If he's going to bounce back from this, he's got to, do a better job. So, stamp of approval. LSU will have more success than Briankelly. So, Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like LSU is definitely built in a better situation overall to have more immediate success than Briankelly. He is very much a guy that, conforms to culture as opposed to establish his own. Of course, going with the fake Southern accent as soon as he landed down in Baton Rouge from Notre Dame. And now he's going to find himself in a weird situation overall, just to be like, maybe I don't need to coach next season. I'll take my $54 million and take the year off. Or as he dive headfirst into something as soon as possible, with the end of the season just right around the corner for a lot of teams. Now, I would be interested to see where LSU adjust their plans. Do they go back into the well here? Do they hire from within, or do they go and try to find somebody new that conforms to the style that they have, at least with the success that they've had at other programs? I would definitely say I think LSU is definitely going to have more immediate success than Brian Kelly. Maybe Brian Kelly just take the season off and see what life is like outside of coaching for sure.
Hey, if you're getting paid that much, you don't have to do much. I mean, it's a lot of money.
Exactly.
So, hey, I don't think he's complaining too much, but still, you want to try to win
Look
that
at Coach
national
O.
title.
He hasn't coached in a few years. He's
That's
doing
right.
great. Wants to
Doing
get back
great.
in, though.
Let's get him back. Let's get him back. All right. Last one, Voldy.
Finally, a story that I really kind of stumbled upon through my algorithm and even wanted to know more information, because if you're somebody like myself during the summer, there isn't really a whole lot going on sports wise. Maybe some NBA, a lot of baseball, but maybe on a Thursday, Friday night you stumble upon, oh look, football. What's this? Canadian football. What's this all about? Saskatchewan versus Winnipeg. Ooh, this is interesting. Canadian Football League, the CFL, announced major changes this past week that will be taking place in 2 phases over the next 2 seasons. As the commissioner of the CFL, Stuart Johnson, announced at a media conference that will not only change play on the field, but also gain more interest off the field as well, with the start of the first phase coming up here in the 2026 season. Now, all teams will be required to have their bench areas in opposite sides of the field. That's right, you heard this correct. Some benches are literally on the same side of the field, eliminating cases where some players have to run for 50 to 60 yards for substitutions. Some stadiums even feature benches on opposite sides, while others still have them side by side. So the opposite side fields will have to become mandatory coming up starting 2026. And also, to help out with game flow and consistency, a new 35-second play clock will be automatically begin as soon as the previous play is whistled dead. Currently, there is a 20-second play clock that does start until manually initiated by the official. Also coming up in the 2026 phase will be the Rouge. Now, for those that are unfamiliar with the Rouge is a single point awarded for a missed field goal attempt that goes wide of the goalpost, and also is awarded when a punt or kickoff sails through or rolls through the back or the sides of an end zone without being touched by the returner. So basically, you can get a point for bad kicks. Now, the Rouge will be changed to the modified Rouge, which will be if a punt, field goal, or kickoff settles in the end zone and the returner fails to take it out or takes a knee, that single point will be awarded coming up starting in 2026. Now, if you thought this couldn't get any more weird and any more hairy, here's 2027 for you. Goalposts in the Canadian Football League are on the goal line,
Right.
with the back of the end zone being wide open. Now, the CFL is going to be making a change that they will put the goalposts at the back of the end zones to allow for passing offenses to target the middle of the end zone, and also to make settling for field goals less attractive. Goalposts will be moved to the back of the end zone. And also, with these goalposts being moved, there will be more opportunities for those offenses to move the football even further. And starting in 2027, there will be some fields and end zones are 20 yards in the end zone, some even a couple at 18. They're going to be moving the end zones to 15-yard end zones and exactly 100-yard fields to ensure scoring remains high, and of course keeping the kicking game relevant. End zones will be shortened from 20 to 15 yards, and the CFL will still have the largest end zone in any form of professional football, and the field will also be shortened from 110 to 100 yards while retaining its distinctive 65-yard width field, allowing for offenses to start closer to the opponent's end zone. Matt, do you know how wide an NFL football field is by chance?
Oh, man. Wide. Tell me, what do you got?
53 and a third, believe it or not. Because the only reason why I know that is Pat McAfee says it at least once a day on his show. So 65-yard wide field to 100 yards, it's air raid season all day, every day. So the CFL making huge changes to, of course, the upcoming seasons, if you will, to take place over the next 2 years with these rule changes. Is it absurd or proof? Will these rule changes enhance the CFL product?
Well, I don't see why they wouldn't. Very interesting, to say the least, because you're so used to the field goal posts. Like, anytime I've seen Canadian football, the field goal posts way up on the goal line and everything, and making catches and everything. And it's like, well, it's kind of the old school way of things for the NFL as well. But, yeah, I don't see why not. More touchdowns, like you said, with the air raid. The one person that I would want to ask, to be completely honest with you, who has played in the CFL, and a person that has been on this show, Troy Stoudemire. Curious his thoughts on that. I'm sure he can kind of give some insight on those rule changes as well, especially with his awesome kickoff and punt returns that he's had. This is, I think this is good. I mean, I don't see a problem of trying to enhance. And nowadays, people have short attention spans. Like, you want to see things move at a, fast paced, right? And I think that's what they're trying to do with the CFL. And, I think it's really, come to fruition for some, players and trying to get, back on track with their careers, or if they enjoy playing in the Canadian Football League. I mean, props out to them for sure. But yeah, I'll give it my stamp of approval. I mean, tradition meets innovation. The whole deal is, what they've been saying. And, I think I'd say it's got my stamp of approval. I mean, something different, something new, giving it a shot. And, they have the capacity to change some things up. If they like it, they can change it. If they like it, they can keep it. If they don't like it, they can change it. So, yeah, stamp of approval. So, Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, I definitely see this as a much enhanceable way to at least get a little bit more eyes on the product. Of course, us being here in the States, don't get a whole lot of the action overall. The occasional broadcast, maybe once a week during the summer, like ESPN or CBS Sports 2. I usually, if there's nothing going on a Wednesday, Thursday night, or I should say Thursday, Friday during the summer, and there's no real other sports on, I'll turn it on. See if there's any familiar names that I can see in the CFL. But definitely will have a little bit more of my attention for sure when it comes to some of these changes that will not only affect the game, but at least make things a little bit more watchable for sure when it comes to the product of Canadian football. It's definitely got my stamp of approval. Just wish it would be happening right now as opposed to waiting till next season.
Yeah, very true as well. Yeah, I think why not? Why the heck not? As the Curve Doctor likes to say. So we'll see what happens. Great job with ARA this week, Voldy, as well. We got some Shield shout-outs to get to. Got some Shield shout-outs tonight. And if you're wondering, yes, I am wearing the whole KirkoChainz get-up. You know what? It is Halloween on Friday. So, maybe I'm just dressed up for Halloween. So, let's go. So, without further ado, it's time for some Shield shout-outs.
Shield shout-outs.
All right, Shield, who ya shouting out tonight?
Well, do have to send a shield shout out to all those that will be partaking not only this weekend, but of course with the Halloween weekend festivities. Hopefully everybody has a safe, happy, and fun Halloween on Friday and everything going into the weekend as well. Be sure to check your kids' candy for anything, razor blades, pills, Minnesota Twins season tickets. Definitely want to watch out for those and get those out of their hands as fast as possible. So definitely everybody have a happy, fun, and safe Halloween coming up here this weekend. And of course, we do have to send a shield shout out to our tribal chief, Nazreid. 2,000 career rebounds in his time with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Did pick that up with the contest the other night against the Nuggets. Sadly, not a win, but still putting up numbers in big ways. But of course, with hopefully that turnaround coming up here very soon, acknowledge your tribal chief in Nazreid. Death, taxes, Nazreid. That's going to do it for Shield Shoutouts this week.
Yes, we love it. Shout out to our guy Nazreid, killing it as usual. Hopefully he has another good one tonight against the Lakers. I think they're just starting up. Happy Halloween to everybody as well. Just don't, like you said, the Twin season tickets, that was brilliant. I love
watch
that.
out.
Watch out. You don't want to, the thing is, the Paul ads will take your money. That's the sad thing about it. So, but great job with Shield Shoutouts as always. You guys know the deal. Congrats to Joe Service this week for winning Pick'em Prize Week. The whole deal. You are getting a MinneZona shirt, OG shirt. Congratulations to you. So get those picks in, guys. You guys are doing a great job. By the way, fill in your tiebreakers. Good Lord, just put in. That's all you got to do. Just say how many points will be scored during the game for both teams. Okay, just put it. You'll lose if you don't. You're guaranteed. If the other person has it, yeah. Anyway, just get those picks in. Get that tiebreaker figured out as well. So make sure you get that going too. So. But if you're like, you know what, I'm not going to mess around. I just want to, get some MinneZona merch. I want to help out the guys. We got them for you. We got Sweatpants. Guys, it's getting chilly out there. So make sure you guys get some Sweatpants. The quarter zips are a perfect gift as well to have the stickers. We got the hats as well. 5-year anniversary hat. Voldy has the Hunter's cap as well. We've got caps on caps on caps. So make sure you talk to us, give you a price, and we will help you out there. Thank you to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for the stickers. And shout out to our guy, Will Rattel, www.w2performance.com. Make sure you check out all of his stuff as well. He's killing it as per usual. And the Brotherly Ballers podcast, Tyler Hermann and Jack Vickers. Make sure you check out their stuff for fantasy football. And make sure you check out our guy, Troy Stoudemire Jr., TLS Performance. He's looking ripped as hell. He's ready to play some football, I think, at some point here. I think the Vikings should give him a call. I really think so. The Popcorn Bucket List, our guy, Nick Dahlhoff, and Rhino Myhrberg as well, our guy. Omni Entertainment, they've got some new stuff up. Nick did get his hat, by the way. He did. That hat is sick, by the way. I'm not going to lie. He wore it on, I think, the latest episode, if I'm not mistaken. Nick can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Nice. But looks really snazzy, so make sure you guys get those hats. Winter caps, too. I forgot to mention that, too. Winter caps, tumblers. We got it all. So that'll do it for MinneZona this week, episode 258. Go Vikes. I think you're going to see a more competitive game. I hope, and hopefully it's a win. I really want to see a win as well, but I guess we'll figure out on Sunday. It's at noon, thankfully, so we don't have to suffer through a night of bad football. So, Skull Vikes, go Wolves. Good luck to the Twins. Go Wild. Go Lynx. The whole deal. So, without further ado, as always, remember, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.